Okay, before getting started, a quick word about the sponsor for today's video, and that is Thompson Tea. They have high quality sweat-proof undershirts and have been generous enough to provide our entire community with a pretty sizable discount. So if you have any need of that type of product at all, check out the link down below in the description. Now on to the real subject, and that is once again the Anthem game. First things first, more and more information has been cropping up regarding the game, including demo footage, gameplay, and various announcements. There are a lot of positives to be associated with this. Giving gamers as much information about a product as early as possible is to be commended and respected. Not only that, but it helps create reasonable expectations, and it avoids some of the pitfalls that are all too common in today's industry when it comes to overhype, oversell, and dishonest marketing strategies. The first thing to really examine though, and here comes the skepticism, is the stone cold promise by BioWare to not downgrade Anthem graphics from what was seen at its initial E3 reveal. That's a pretty complicated statement because the E3 footage was likely being shown on a ridiculously powerful rig that hardly any gamer out there actually uses. The footage from E3 cannot ever be indicative of the average console experience as well, and even most decent PCs may even struggle to reach that level of detail and visual integrity. Before people jump down my throat, there was an address made by BioWare employees stating that the graphics had been unintentionally lowered by mistake to a very low setting prior to the demo being shown, and it is not indicative of the actual game's aesthetic. Those who trend towards optimism will say it's a simple mistake and it's no big deal. Those who trend towards skepticism, though, will say that it's a pretty major thing and it may be telling of something much more sinister. The cold hard promise that Anthem will look like this, and then after that, seeing this, might not bode well with a lot of gamers, and it conjures up images of Mass Effect Andromeda and the whacked out launch day animations, or The Division, which was a straight up bait and switch, pretty much. I would not go so far as to accuse Anthem of already showing signs of being similar to that degree, but as I scrolled through the comments and delved further into the research, it became clear the hype surrounding the game is dying. BioWare needs Anthem. EA, not so much, but still a little bit. It's a project they want to succeed. Anthem is also a fresh IP, meaning there is no pre-existing fan base to market to, and this all makes it more difficult to achieve sales levels that are high enough to break even or produce revenue even close to their benchmarks. I maintain that Anthem has a wonderful concept which opens up a wealth of possibilities, and there is potential in their systems thus far for cool customization, co-op play, and a lot more, but at the same time, when watching most of the recent footage, I just felt sort of bored. A complaint I have seen voiced time and time again for various games that I have played and have experience in was time to kill and bullet spongy enemies. This rang especially true in The Division, and it felt like most of the Anthem gameplay I saw featured extremely tanky enemies, slow to die, with a lot of meaningless movement and shooting with very little gratification. The verticality of the world still stands as one of its strengths, but the game will also be featuring a corridor system, not a true open world. There will be lanes, however wide, where travel takes place, and these may be done spectacularly well, but a decent chunk of players may not be aware of this fact and are expecting true open world gameplay as seen in other titles like Skyrim, Red Dead Redemption 2, or Witcher 3. In recent months especially, I've seen a great deal of footage and material that leads me to believe Anthem will be better than I originally expected, but I was not setting the bar very high at all. As a new IP that promised no graphical downgrade, the question looms large whether or not it will be able to find its legs. Another very key factor that I've seen spread far and wide is its competition. When games like Warframe exist, is there really a big enough piece of the pie available for Anthem? I think yes, personally, but with some similarities in subject matter, and the simple fact that Warframe is itself free, it is likely to at least have a partial impact on Anthem's chances. What is escaping certain gamers, namely current fans of the game, is that Anthem has been designed from the ground up to be a game as a service. BioWare is going in a new direction, and most of what dedicated BioWare fans know and love won't actually be what Anthem focuses on at all. EA got hit hard by the public outrage over microtransactions, and thank God for that. It actually had a positive impact on Anthem by spurring them to commit to a much more user-friendly monetization model for the game as opposed to Battlefront 2. But when you take 10 steps forward and then 5 steps back, down a road that you shouldn't be on at all, you're still 5 steps further than you should be. I've done plenty of Anthem coverage in the past, some of it exceedingly negative, other times with a more positive tone, and this time I like to think I remain sort of moderate, but all around me I am witnessing the hype for this game die out completely. The graphics can never look like what they promised on average consoles, period. It's just not possible. Even on high-end rigs, it's such a far cry from what we have seen. And yes, they claim simple error, but it feels like, and yes, I am saying feels like, I do not have incontrovertible evidence to support this. It feels like that we are heading in an unfinished direction for release day, with a steep player base decline and angry Reddit posts soon thereafter. Graphics alone don't make or break the game, but they have a huge impact for a lot of gamers. Me myself, I don't care much, but it's a big deal when such a concrete promise has been made. Anthem has already outlined a 10-year plan, the closest parallel being Destiny, and that is simply counting chickens before the eggs hatch. Destiny 2 has made enormous strides to recover from its early release date, that has to be acknowledged, but the Destiny model, if you will, is not something the gaming community at large has got a lot of love for. And even those who are neutral, in my experience, trend towards skepticism and distrust of such a model when applied to an unproven game, from a studio known for a completely different style of content. I could do videos about every single Javelin suit and all the Reddit posts or the developer tweets, but more so than ever before, I'm adopting a wait and see approach with this game. Admittedly, I want it to succeed. Legitimately, I do, because it would not only possibly offer great content potential, which is something I'm always searching for, with its in-game mechanics and its looter genre style, but also because it looks like they are actually at least taking some risks, which is more than most games can say nowadays in the industry. A lot of the time, games simply try to copy existing popularity trends and they don't innovate at all. Anthem, of course, copies some trends, with the obvious criticism being it sort of appears on a surface level to just be BioWare's and EA's Destiny, but in some other areas, huge innovations are being made. Those huge innovations aren't gameplay though, they are monetization techniques, and EA are the ones doing the innovating. Not all innovation is positive for us as consumers. Yes, Anthem has dialed back the microtransactions, or so they say, but EA has got a reputation nothing short of a dumpster fire right now. And I know plenty, and I need to emphasize that because it's a very common sentiment, plenty of gamers who will literally write Anthem off completely or already have done so because EA are the ones at the wheel. That's a valid position. I'm not so inclined to do it myself, but believe me, I get it, I fully understand. And with all of these things coming together, from the promise of no graphical downgrade, then footage that looks dated and terrible, to a divergence from the tried and true story-heavy BioWare games of old, and a corridor system that snuffs out the concept of a true open world, with all of this being true of a game that is itself unproven and launching into an unfriendly climate, while its publisher languishes in a toxic pool of bad reputation, I find it hard to see a way in which Anthem succeeds short of over-delivering on expectations, and in that regard, my confidence is far from high. For some people, the game may look amazing and everything I have said is utterly meaningless to them. That's fair, and I would not want to diminish their position because to already feel so strongly almost guarantees, regardless of what it looks like at launch, they will get many hours of enjoyment. And that's great, that's what every gamer wants, but I have always had a firm stance that being pleasantly surprised is far superior in like every conceivable way to being disappointed. And with an industry that seems to feed on disappointment and overhype, it's worth talking about every once in a while. It's fantastic that they are being as open about the development process as they are. That really and truly is commendable and helpful. So with that, I'll end on a more positive note and say that unlike certain games that keep things under wraps and only show footage when it's too late to make changes and release is just around the corner, Anthem has time and the ability to improve. They have some runway left to win over their target demographic, and it's 100% possible for them to do, but realistic expectations are key. That's pretty much going to wrap it up. Again, if you have any need of sweat-proof undershirts, we have a great discount and partnership going with Thompson T. The link to their website is down below in the description. There are other links there as well, our Facebook group, gaming forums, Discord server, and my Twitch live stream, but I'm mostly streaming on YouTube nowadays, so hit the notification bell to snag a live broadcast sometime if you want to do that. As always, drop any feedback in the comments down below on the video, on Anthem, on anything really, and I'll wrap it up there. Have a nice night.